1150. That is the BCSI Associates hotline. And you can also text the show. I guess I should tell you guys what the question of the day is, even though I kind of feel like it's counterproductive to what my mood is, or what I'm trying to make my mood. I'm trying to stay happy, but then I'm going to ask a question that'll probably make me angry, so we'll just do it anyway. What has surprised you most this season? Positive answers would be great, but I don't think we're going to get many of those, so you can text the A&B text line and give me some of those thoughts. And with that, we start things off with the great Olin Buchanan, the Heisman Trophy voter, and my buddy. Good morning, buddy.
Good morning. You know, it's funny when you said that about trying to be positive.
I'm trying.
I was reminded of a conversation I had with Jerry Hill, friend of mine, a reporter, longtime reporter in Waco.
Yep, I know
for
Jerry.
Baylor, and he was telling me that one year that is before, I think even before Guy Morris, one of their heinous coaching staffs. One of the guys lashed out at him, saying he never wrote anything positive about him. You know, this is back when they were maybe winning one game a year.
Right.
And so the next game, they got blown out again, and the headline on the Waco Herald Tribune or whatever it's called said, "Positively awful." And he said the next week, this same coach said, "Jerry, come in here call him into a separate room." And he was thinking, what's going to happen? And the guy got real close to him, and Jerry was thinking, is this guy going to punch me?
Right.
And the coach said, "You got me, didn't you?"
That's cool.
So I guess it depends on what kind of positivity you're looking for, right?
Yeah, look, the offense has been pretty bad. And again, I don't use the New Mexico game or the Kent State game as my barometer. Those are the gimmies, the practice, the games you expect to. I had hoped that Colorado was going to be that way as well, but it wasn't. It was much harder. I certainly expected more from the team. We got to find things that can work because they just started SEC play. It's the very beginning, and I'm hoping, as I was kind of putting down some thoughts on why I think things could get better. And one of those is I know we keep thinking that the magic potion's out there. Like eventually the offensive line's going to drink this drink and Zach's going to drink this drink and they're just going to get it. Just going to get it. But until that point, I am hoping that some consistency and health on the line provides just enough for your playmakers to make plays. Layden Robinson coming back to me is a huge deal. Not that I think he's the greatest offensive lineman in the country, but stability on the offensive line, guy who's played a little bit, a guy that you expect to play, being back, I think goes a long way. And then hoping that after they saw the film, and you told me you watched the film again last night, right?
Yeah, I watched the game again.
And you weren't overly disappointed with the offensive line? Or
I thought the offensive line played better as the game went on, and the more I really watched it, I'm not saying they played, had a good game, don't get me wrong, but I don't think at the same time, they were as miserable as we came away originally thinking. I think that there was some, we're always saying, well, they were getting pressure with 3 men, Arkansas was. Yeah, but even with 3 men rushing, at some point you got to get rid of the ball. And I thought some of that pressure was, self-induced by just hanging on to the ball, and some of that was because maybe the play calling didn't give you an opportunity to find open receivers. But the more I watched it, I can remember one play where Damon Demas is open for a first down. He's got his arms up. He's waving for the ball, and he's actually in Calzada's sight line, and Calzada waits and waits and waits, and then he decides to throw the ball. But by the time he threw the ball, and he threw it kind of low, he hit a converging linebacker in the chest.
Right.
Make the throw when the guy's open, and you've got a first down, and once again, your offensive line doesn't look like it didn't protect you.
are we giving Barry Odom too much credit or too little credit? Because we had heard when it was still going to be Haynes. I don't know if you remember. Connor O'Gara came on the show, and he's like, dude, this is what he does, and he's going to confuse Haynes King, and that's why he predicted that to be the first loss of the year. But I feel like a lot of the mistakes, as Jimbo talked about, were self-inflicted. You hold on to the ball too long. Was it Shireen who told us yesterday? He'd move out of the pocket, and then he just limits the plays that he can have. He's got 11 on one side. It's just there's no plays to be made, or you're cutting off part of the field, and then you hold it for a little bit too long. The indecision is not natural, and I don't think that just overnight becomes natural.
Yeah, there's one play I was watching again last night, and he's rolling to his right, and the defense starts to converge on him, and Anaya Smith pops wide open, and he's calling for the ball. And he doesn't throw it. I can't remember if he threw it to somebody else and it was incomplete, or if he tried to run and got stopped short. But Anais, and then what really worries me is I saw the frustration in the reaction of Anais to be that open, not getting the ball. I saw it from Demas. I saw it from Wademeyer on different plays where, you can just, they're just putting their head down because we keep saying, well, somebody needs to help them out. And I saw some instances, I mean, they can help them out, but I saw some instances where they did what they could do, and they were open. And then again, the body language and the reaction is showing a mounting frustration.
Yeah. One thing that the Aggies need, and I don't know how they do it but it feels like the entire offense is in a fog, other than Isaiah Spiller. And Isaiah Spiller isn't having an amazing season either. He isn't getting the opportunities to, but he's had amazing moments for sure. But the Anaya Smiths of the world have to start making some plays. And I don't know how they get on the ball to get plays and how they open them up, but the Wadermeyers have to start making some plays. Like people that you came into this season expecting greatness from, got to get them the ball to see greatness happen. And then when you get your opportunity, you've got to make the play. There were a couple plays last week that were not on Zach. Drop passes, maybe not perfectly thrown, but enough that a superstar should make.
Yeah, one play comes to mind was to Wademeyer.
Yep.
But I will say this. He's 6'5". He had jumped as high as I guess he can jump and was fully extended.
Yeah, it's not an easy catch.
Most people probably don't make it because just you're completely extended. But if you come down with it, it's one of those oh my God plays.
Again, some of those plays go down in that game. We talked about it yesterday, the plays that were negated because of penalties. But just some of those plays that sometimes Jalen Wademeyer makes that catch, right? He makes that. There was that one that he hit his head, his helmet. He makes that catch. We're feeling completely different.
Yeah, and I think I worry that the frustration is affecting the performance.
We are at a crossroads, aren't we, for this season, that this week, I said it last week about Arkansas, but really this week, if you come out again with no offense, then I have no reason to believe that it's going to get any better anytime soon. You come out and just do, I don't even know what the bare minimum is. I don't know. I don't even have a number for you. Throw for 200 yards, run for 200 yards. I don't know what that number is. But just give me some semblance of moving the ball beyond the 30-yard line. Get me in the red zone. Get me some field goals. Get me potentially a chance for our running game to get going. Then I'm okay. And I don't even know if Mississippi's like. The more I interviewed our guy yesterday, our Mississippi State insider, Brian Haydad, I don't know if I'm more optimistic or less because they're really good at stopping the run. Really good.
Yeah. So now, you're talking about the crossroads game being Mississippi State, and that reminds me of 2014. A&M had got off to a really good start, unlike this year. But, Aggies will remember they go to Starkville and drop something like 15 passes and lose. Well, then the next week they got if my memory serves, it was the next week they got shut out 59-0 by Alabama.
Right.
And then I think the next week, Ole Miss comes in and they lose something like 35-14. And then it got to that point where you saw the offense was struggling terribly. And you just didn't know if they would ever score. They even played ULM later, and Kyle Allen started, but they barely won that game. And they came back and beat Auburn, but lost to LSU. So, and then you finished up by beating West Virginia Libertyville, and you finished up 8-5, and it just kind of felt empty.
What happens if the offense isn't efficient again? You don't necessarily make a change at quarterback before Alabama, especially you don't really know if you can trust those guys either, right? You don't know. Like, you just take the lumps?
Yeah, I don't know what option you have. I mean, I don't think it would be fair to have a walk-on or a true freshman come in and his very first game is against the number one team in the country, and your offense is struggling.
Yep. And then where do you go from there if that doesn't work, right? Like you just bleed out till Haynes comes back?
Yeah, I think so. And just hope that your defense plays well enough to keep you in games. And then Isaiah Spiller will, make a tremendous catch or make a huge play. And, you'll be able to eke out a win if you don't get things on track. I think getting Layden Robinson back will help. I think if they would just say, look, we're going to play Kenyon Green at one position no matter what the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I think that'll help because I think as you move him around, you start weakening two positions instead of one. And then I think I've seen enough from Reuben Fothery and the other guys to say Reuben Fothery's already one of your better options at tackle, and I would stick with him.
Yeah. Hey, I do want to read this. We're kind of going long here, and I do want to say hi to Anna Rosa Peterson here in a moment. But yesterday when we posted our video, our TexAgs Rewind video, Aggie Z99 posted this, and just a little, just to tell you where we are offensively. We talked about Mike Leach and what he's doing at Mississippi State, and our insider Brian Haydad told us that one of the receivers already has 40 receptions on the year. A&M as a total has 79 receptions on the year through 4 games. Just a little perspective of what one offense is doing, also struggling, by the way, compared to another one out there. Let's go to the News and Social Center. Anna Rosa Peterson is in the house today. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Yes, I am very hopeful. We thankfully have gotten a couple positive texts here that I'm looking forward to reading. But I need the Aggies to pull out not just a win, but absolutely dominate this weekend because my little sister is coming to town, and this will be pivotal in her decision-making on where she'll go to college.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Wait, the game against Mississippi State will determine...
This is what I worry about.
Oh, my goodness. What are you?
If you want
5-star
complete
recruit?
Transparency. No. I mean, in the classroom, of course.
Well,
she'll be a 5-star recruit.
I would not count on the domination part. The win part, maybe.
Yeah, we haven't seen... Well, we can continue. Go ahead, Anna Rosa.
Anyways, I'll read this one text from Roland, I think, in College Station, who responds to our topic and says, the biggest surprise for me is the number of injuries. It affects every team on occasion. Even when Alabama lost a couple of linebackers a few years ago, their defense suffered. Also, remember that A&M had almost no injuries last year, and with an all-SEC season, that meant few game reps for the backups. Experienced teams tend to not get much better as the year goes on, but inexperienced teams can get a lot better. And remember, Jimbo's team traditionally gets better as the year goes on. Have hope.
I love it, Roland. Thank you so much for that thought on the A&B text line. They better get better. That's right. We still got a long way, just a third of the season, and a long ways to go. All right, guys, when we come back, games to watch, and we'll get more to your text messages and phone calls. It is TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Your home for Texas A&M football is Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone. The Zone.
Howdy, y'all. This is Cullen Gillespie, former 12th man. I've always tried to help my team on and off the field. And now I'd like to help Texas A&M fans like you cut their electricity bills in half. Yep, in half. It takes less than 5 minutes and you'll save hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars every year. 90% of Texans overpay for electricity, so don't be one of them. Sign up today at EnergyOgre.com and use code GILLY, G-I-L-L-Y, for a free month of service.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon.
If you have considered replacing the windows in your brick veneer home, you may have been told that it would be necessary to either remove the brick or tear up the inside of your window box. You need to know that Intercon replaces windows and brick every day, and we don't tear up anything except the window which is being removed. By installing windows every day, Intercon personnel have worked out methods which result in the replacement windows being at least as neat and effectively installed as your windows were when they were new. This means that Intercon can furnish and install replacement windows which exceed today's tighter standards for efficiency. They look and perform just as well as the best windows in brand new homes. Call Intercon or visit our showroom and we will furnish you customer references for homes you can look at and homeowners you probably know who can tell you that Intercon can solve your window problems without wrecking your home or your budget, just as we did theirs. Intercon will furnish a free quote and we won't pressure you to buy.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
The love that I have for Texas A&M is just feeling so much a part of the school, feeling like there's always people there to support you, that you've got a friend no matter what.
I'd want to give a student the chance to do something they want to do. And the association, I know, gave a lot of my friends the ability to go forward and to actually pick the major they wanted, do the studies they wanted to do.
When I started thinking about college, I had one goal in mind, and that was my parents will not pay for my schooling.
There's a lot of kids out there who are going to make good Aggies, and we ought to give them a chance, and I'm willing to put my share in to try to help them.
Of all of our traditions that are well known, the one that sometimes gets passed over and just taken for granted is perhaps the greatest, and that's Aggies helping Aggies.
To learn more about the association's impact or to make a gift, visit tx.ag/giving.
Listening to The Zone on your Amazon Daughter Echo is easy. Even Louie figured it out. 2 simple steps, and you can hear Chip Howard Sports Talk, TexAgs Radio, The Louie Bellina Show, and many of your favorite A&M teams anytime, anywhere with your special friend, Alexa. Step 1, and only one time, say, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Then anytime you want to hear your favorite host or teams, all you have to do is say, Alexa, play Zone 1150. Make sure to set it all up and say, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill, and listen in anytime just by saying, Alexa, play Zone 1150.
Welcome back, TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Excited about our broadcast next Friday. Obi, you'll be there. We'll be at Rollo Insurance, the grand opening. Live broadcast, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. right before that Alabama game. On-site entry for a chance to win drawing. You got live entertainment, Jackson Schlossnagel and the band Nomadic. They are obviously related to Jim Schlossnagel, his son. He's got a great band coming out there. Complimentary walk-up lunch, Taco Boss food truck, 10:30 to 12:30. We'd love to see that. And also the meet and greet with Coach Schlossnagel, 11 a.m. to 11:30. The ribbon cutting at 11:30 a.m. And it's going to be fun, man. So just make sure that you are out there helping out and helping with the donations out there, too, because every person who can help out goes a long, long way. They're helping out the Down syndrome situation here in the Brazos Valley. So Down Syndrome Association of the Brazos Valley, extremely worthy organization. They are prepared. Rollo Insurance is prepared to match your donation dollar for dollar. So no donation is too small. You can give $5. Rollo Insurance is going to match it. You can give $100. They're going to match that as well. Let's see if we can all raise $3,000. Go to dsabv.org/Rollo2021 to make a donation. Any of them, large or small. And as a reminder, if you go out there to our live broadcast, they've got some great drawings to win. The Yeti Tundra Hall, wheeled cooler, $250 gift card, and a Glock 19X. You must be 21 and a Texas resident and legally eligible to obtain a firearm through an authorized dealer. So check us out next Friday there at Rollo Insurance. OB, obviously the A&M Mississippi State game is one of the, I don't want to say the marquee games, but one of the games that the SEC Network is going to be showcasing there at 6 o'clock at Kyle Field. But there's some other games you want to get into.
Well, there's not a huge schedule, but the really good games are in the SEC, and they're Two of them are, and they're very intriguing. And we'll start with Ole Miss and Alabama. If you just go back to that game last year, the way it went, it was a track meet.
Yeah.
I think Alabama won by 14. I don't think Alabama's as good as they were last year. I think we can all agree on that.
Ole Miss is better.
And Ole Miss is better. They're actually playing a semblance of defense. So that could be interesting. I didn't think Ole Miss would be as good without Elijah Moore and Kenny Yeboah, but they're still pretty good. So I would pick Alabama, but I think that game could be very competitive.
Yeah, I could go either way here because it's Alabama. I could see Alabama crushing Ole Miss, and Lane Kiffin's feeling himself. The team's playing great, coming off a bye week, and that's one of those weekends that Lord Vader shows why he's the best in college football and finds a way to squash them. Because the Alabama defense, even though they struggled a couple weeks back, is pretty salty. They bring a lot of veterans back there.
They do. They've had some injuries that's hurt at linebacker, but yeah, I think they have a really good secondary. And Ole Miss wants to throw the ball, so it's going to be a heck of a matchup. I think.
By the way, I'm okay with Alabama winning that game and then Zach Calzada throwing for 350 against Alabama. That I'm okay with, and winning.
Yeah, I think we'd all be all right with that. Arkansas at Georgia.
There's a part of me that thinks that Georgia's going to destroy Arkansas and let them realize they're not as good as they think. But every contest that they've had where they've been challenged, they've found a way to show that they're pretty good.
I know where you're going with that. One of the things that if I was an Arkansas fan that would concern me is I have the feeling, and maybe I'm wrong, but I had a feeling that Arkansas was so emotionally, to the absolute extreme invested in that game last week to end the 9-game winning streak. And it's one thing when you feel that way against Texas, and then your next game is Georgia Southern. But when you feel that way and you put it just all out there against A&M, and your next game is Georgia without the Southern attached to it, and then you go on the road. I think I'm going to pick Georgia. Now the question is,
how much
will Georgia cover that 18.5 point spread? And maybe. I think it, like you said, I think it could get that way.
Georgia strikes me as the best team in college football.
I would have a hard time arguing that. I'd put Alabama just until somebody beat them.
Right.
And Georgia always finds a way to lose to Alabama, even when they outplay them. But I wouldn't dispute that. So, I think that's a really interesting game.
Yeah, I agree. What else you got on there?
How about Cincinnati, Notre Dame?
We're going to Notre Dame finds a way to win these games that eventually I think they're the bad team. Are they going to figure it out? You know how we
Maybe
talk
they
about
figured
A&M?
it out last week.
Maybe they did. Because in the fourth quarter, defensively, they certainly figured it out.
Yeah, they had that 2 pick sixes to turn what was a struggle into a blowout. This game means a lot to both teams because you look at Notre Dame, and I think most people still dwell on the overtime win over bad Florida State, and then a touchdown in the last minute and a half to beat Toledo.
Right.
So Notre Dame needs to boost its playoff resume as well. But Cincinnati, like it or not, a win over Notre Dame goes a long way, whether they deserved or not. If Cincinnati wins, they've already beaten Indiana, but so what? If Cincinnati beats Notre Dame, you put that in their resume. They're probably going to, they still have to play SMU. I guess they have an AAC championship game. But if they go undefeated with a win over Notre Dame, it might be hard to keep them out of the playoff.
Yeah.
Especially with a lot of teams underperforming this year.
I agree.
How about Florida and Kentucky?
I am interested in this game because Kentucky's played great this year. But Florida, to me, proved that they're on a different level when they played Alabama. And not just because they played the second half, but their quarterback situation is getting figured out. Emory Jones had a great week last week, and Anthony Richardson's coming back. I'm very intrigued by this matchup because Kentucky turns the ball over a lot. You turn the ball over against Florida, you're not going to win this game. I think they're -9 on the year, Kentucky, and they're undefeated.
But they're at home. I would take Florida, too. I just wonder if Kentucky can make it a very competitive game. They finally, a couple of years ago, beat Florida for like the first time in 3 decades.
Right.
I think they're going to be very competitive in that game. And then Baylor, Oklahoma State.
They still play football?
You know, they're both coming off big wins.
Yeah.
They're both ranked. They're both, I think Baylor's, 21 and Oklahoma State's 19. And with the way the Big 12 is, maybe whoever wins this game has an inside track. If Baylor wins, they've already got a win over Iowa State and Oklahoma State, two teams that are good enough to help you out later. So the winner could have an inside track at least to the Big 12 championship game for what it's worth.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself how weird this college football season is going to how we felt about A&M and their chances 3 weeks ago. And then when you saw Texas get demolished by Arkansas, but they seem to have turned things around against nobody irrelevant yet, but how that Big 12 is going to be open for Texas, for a Baylor, not for TCU. But by the way, did you catch Gary Patterson's act?
You know, I used to really like Gary Patterson.
He's changed a little bit.
He really has. He's turned into kind of a whiner.
Yeah.
And he really has this I'm trying to say he just has this issue, I'll say it, with SMU. And a couple of years ago, SMU won, and he said, we're not going to play them anymore, and all the, and we helped them, like, okay, you helped us in some way, so now we're supposed to lay down when we play you. And then apparently he wrote some kind of song, and they were making fun of it, and he got his feelings hurt over that. I mean, just freaking win the football game.
Just win games, man. You don't have to like the whole flag thing, but just win the freaking game, and you don't have to worry about it. All right, let's do this. If you want to text the A&B text line, you can, 979-693-1150. I did ask you guys what has surprised you most. I got a couple of thoughts. I'd like to get OB's thoughts on that as well. You can call the BCSI hotline, 979-693-1150 as well. And just right now, I want to talk about my friends at the Association of Former Students. Love the folks out there. I've been talking about them since coming back here to College Station. Porter Garner, Catherine Green Wade, Randy Reyes, Lexi. They all just, and there's a lot of others that work out there too. Those are just the four that I've gotten to hang out with and chit chat with. But they have been around for so long, over 140 years serving the Aggie Network. And your gifts have empowered them to be here, there, and everywhere. And they are literally everywhere, guys. Road trips, you'll see them out there having a great tailgate. Scholarships around campus, they're doing it as well. From academic scholarships to study abroad to Parsons Mounted Cavalry, the fish drill team, the Ross Volunteer Company. And none of that is possible without your help. I, for a few years, just kind of forgot to renew. What a weirdo I was. I'm sorry about that. But I'm back in. $100 a year, $9 a month. You're going to get the decal, the plaque, and the Texas Aggie magazine. Plus, you're continuing in the oldest, most inspiring tradition of Aggies helping other Aggies out there. It's not expensive, guys. Just get involved. To learn more about the impact of the association, get involved, make a gift. Visit aggienetwork.com/giving.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. St. Anthony's Catholic Church is holding a drive-through barbecue fundraiser on Sunday, October 10th at their pavilion on Tabor Road. Food starts selling at 10:30 a.m. A free presentation offered to seniors on Medicare open enrollment is scheduled for Wednesday, October 13th. Contact the Mature Well Lifestyle Club for more information. Join the Brazos Valley Museum of Natural History on October 16th for the 16th Annual Texas Heritage Festival Boonville Days. Find more information at brazosvalleymuseum.org. Celebrate the City of Bryan's 150th anniversary with the official Bryan, Texas History Tour. Find more information about this self-guided tour at 150.bryantx.gov. Your home for Houston Texans football is Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. You can hear every game, home, road, all season long, right here on Aggieland's only all-sports station. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
If you own construction equipment and need custom hydraulic hoses, get 10% off at WPI. WPI also has the best price in town for DEF at $8.50 for 2.5 gallons. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI can help.
Join WPI for free Big Dogs Barbecue at their open house Wednesday, October 6th from 11 a.m. to 2. Yeti tumbler giveaways, raffles for Pelican and Igloo coolers, plus much more. Highway 21 East at Marino Road. Click WPI.com.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Lance Lester at the Lester Group, Zwerneman Flooring, and The Sleep Station. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on the Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
This is Aaron Dawson.
And I'm Olivia Dawson.
Won't you join the Folds of Honor and Allen Academy by supporting the annual Cadet Golf Classic and Patriot Dinner hosted at Miramont Country Club, Sunday, October 17th through Tuesday, October 19th.
The Cadet Golf Classic is an 18th-hole, four-man scramble designed to raise scholarship funds for the families of fallen and disabled veterans through Folds of Honor, as well as financially supporting Allen Academy, an independent school in Bryan.
For more info or to register, please visit thecadet.org, and thank you for your support.
The best is yet to come in College Station.
Isaiah up the middle, first down and more. 40, 45, 50, now it's a race. 40, 30, to the 20. Isaiah Spiller all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Aggies!
Join us Saturday. The Aggies host Mississippi State. Our coverage begins at 5 on your home for Aggies football, the Texas A&M Sports Network.
Listen to Aggie Football on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Online at RadioAggieland.com or tell your smart speaker to play Sony 1150.
Church music. That's what it feels like. TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, 911 University Drive East in College Station. I know some of you are in the market for an engagement ring, wedding band, or Sackable anniversary ring, so you need to save the date for David Gardner's Ring in the Season promotion. That is October the 13th through the 16th. David Gardner's are going to have an extended selection of diamond engagement rings, wedding bands, and more. Don't miss an opportunity to swing by while they have the largest selection of the year at the best prices. Go visit davidgardnersjewelers.com. You can click on the engagement tab and scroll to the bottom. We're right here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. OB, a couple of things I want to get into this segment. So I asked a question early on. And by the way, those of you who are answering on the A&B text line, what has surprised you most this season? In fact, before we answer that, OB, because I want to get your thoughts, Anna Rosa Peterson had a funny text message coming in. Anna.
Oh, I did.
Can you talk to us? Bayou Ag, I believe it was?
Yes. Bayou Ag says, does OB have a fedora to go with that shirt? Cigar and rum shot as well?
Oh, that's funny. I don't have a fedora. Maybe I need to get one.
I've never been a fedora guy.
Yeah, I like the fedora. I like the coach at
Larry?
At College State, at A&M Consolidated.
Yeah.
I've said it before. I came home from Dallas this weekend, and my wife had gone shopping and bought me 10 new shirts. And
10?
Yeah, well, they were all on sale. She found a big sale.
Goodness gracious.
So
go there.
So I went with this one, and maybe next time I'll ask her to go buy me a fedora.
Yeah.
And then I'll wear it on the air.
Please do. You know what I would love?
I don't think I'm much of a cigar type. I'm sorry. I know you're Cuban and all.
I don't do cigars either.
Oh,
I don't know if that surprises you, but I'm not a big cigar guy. I would love to see you in a fedora.
I thought it was required.
Well, no smoking in the studio anyways. So
this is true.
A lot of people don't even smoke the cigars. They kind of chew on them.
They do chew on them, yeah. I would love to see you in an eye patch. Just
me and Dan Crenshaw.
Just, rock it. All right, let's get into it. Where
do I find an eye patch?
It's Halloween coming up. I'm sure they'll be fine. I mean, they'll be everywhere.
Okay.
OB, what has surprised you most this
let me say this. When I hear surprise, to me, surprise has a positive connotation to it.
Okay. What has frightened you?
So to me, and I don't mean to sound like a lawyer, to me, surprise, good, disappoint, bad. So to me, the greatest surprise, I think, is actually the emergence of Tyreek Chappell.
Okay.
Who I think is playing a pretty good corner when he's in there. I think he got called on a bogus pass interference call last week, where I thought he just had good coverage. And really, I think A&M got better in pass coverage when he came in. I think he's been a very pleasant surprise.
I think he's been a great surprise. And surprised, I understand what you mean, positive connotation. Let me ask you, how would you phrase it? But there is, I want today to be positive, but mine is not positive. But let me ask you this. would you say that Arkansas caught A&M by surprise on that 85-yard touchdown? Or how would you phrase that? And I'm meaning that because I know you know words. How would you phrase that? Off guard.
Yeah, definitely off guard.
Off guard.
But, give credit where credit is due. Because if you watch that, I know you did, they came out and they ran the play to get the one-on-one. I mean, they know, all right, A&M's got this corner out. They obviously identified it, and he's been out, and he's had foot issues.
Let's test him.
Let's get it one-on-one. And remember, they got a false start on that play. They moved it from on that, so they moved it from but that's the play they were running because they never went into the huddle.
They just went right there.
They just moved it back and immediately went right into calling because they had what they wanted and they were let's go for it because we believe our guy is better than their guy, especially when their guy hadn't been playing. And what do you know? They get an 85-yard touchdown. So yes, A&M was definitely caught off guard.
So what has surprised me most, what has caught me the most off guard about this team has been the struggles offensively. And I'll start with Zach Calzada. Look, it's not fair to expect the offense to be as good as initially expected with your backup quarterback and the changes to the line, right? But it has surprised me how poor the offense has been in those Power 5 games. Looking at some of these stats, they rushed for 98 yards against Colorado, 121 against Arkansas. I was expecting this team to rush for 200 yards a game. Close to that. They haven't reached 200 yards passing in either of those games. Calzada is completing 52% of his passes, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks on the year. I expected the offense. I am surprised how bad the offense has been, even with the reasons that they have. I understand why they have taken a step back. I'm surprised how much of a step back they have taken. I didn't expect that. I expected, it's kind of like, I don't know, when I'm trying to think of a situation. Backup quarterback comes in. I'm not saying he's going to, come guns blazing, but, they're not as good, but they move the ball a little bit. I haven't seen that, and that has surprised me.
Well, that's definitely valid. I'll tell you, a negative surprise for me, though, is the success that maybe even more than the offensive struggling, is the success that your opponents are having running the football.
On this great defense.
Is it great? This defense that was great, that was one of the hardest defenses to run on in the country last year, and now everybody
is running.
I mean, gashing at times. Now, I'm not saying they run consistently, even though Arkansas ran pretty consistently.
In the first half.
First half, and then they made some plays in the second half too when you really needed to stop them.
They were able to convert on third down. They were able to keep moving the chains on a play. Like if you stop them, you're getting the ball possibly in good field position. That didn't happen.
I'm surprised. I think A&M's ranked right now something like, and I don't hold me to this, but I'm thinking like 90th or something around there in run defense. And to me, that's shocking.
So I'll ask this. I think we broached it yesterday, or maybe in my head I broached it. And I think we did talk about it, but I'm going to say it again. Does A&M beat Arkansas with Haynes King last week?
Well, I hate to keep dumping on a guy, but yeah, I think they do. And again,
he's worth another 2 touchdowns at least. Do you think? I think. I don't know. There's not enough evidence.
Well,
but
first of all, I do believe that just by making quicker decisions, if you decide to run. If you decide, I just believe that all things being the same, I think A&M probably wins that game something like 21-17, 20-17.
But they would have still had to play catch up the way the defense started the game, more than likely. But maybe you get a touchdown on that first drive. Maybe you get a field goal on that first drive. It kind of feels a little different.
Yeah, maybe. And but I'm taking away the 3 points that Arkansas got after the interception. I mean, A&M was despite everything, A&M was when the touchdown, had the ball, and just had a big play. When they throw an interception off your own center's helmet.
Right.
And somewhat optimistic that if your starting quarterback, who looked pretty good despite the interceptions in his one appearance, would make a few more plays.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait a little while to see what else he does. And look, I am rooting for Zach for obvious reasons. He seems to be a very good young man. He's the quarterback.
I mean, you better root for him because he's all you got, really.
Yeah, and it's not all on him. There's a lot on him because he's the quarterback, but it's not completely on him. And I'm hoping that this week plays are simplified, his thought process is simplified, and just play catch.
I think he throws a really good deep ball. He showed it on an incompletion to Caleb Chapman against Colorado because Caleb just didn't catch it. And then he showed it on the long touchdown to Damon Demas against New Mexico. And I think you got to let him throw it downfield a few times. But according to Jimbo, they did call some deep shots, so he's going to have to take them.
Yeah. And I didn't realize this. I think it was Peter Burns who said it on the show on Monday. And I know Alyssa Lang talked about it 2 weeks ago when they took on New Mexico, how often he is looking at Jimbo. And maybe other quarterbacks do it, but like looking for direction on each play, approval. And I'm hoping at some point you just got to do what you do in the structure of the offense.
Yeah, I think that's over-analysis. You know, he's looking for approval from the coach. He's probably looking like, what's the next play?
Yeah.
And trying to figure out, what let's get ahead of what we're going to do now. I have a hard time believing that the guy is looking, hey, coach, did I do well on that one? I just don't. I don't buy that. I think that's over-analysis, but, what do I know?
We don't know a lot, but we know that they have to get this weekend. If you want to be a part of the show, you can. Call us up, 979-693-1150. That is the BCSI Associates hotline. You can text the show as well. We just asked you what has surprised you most so far this season. We'll get to those and some headlines. Plus, I want to talk about some X factors in this game. Yeah, there are some people who I think can be X factors. Obi will give us his opinion as well. But right now, I want to talk about Chance McClain and Heritage Films, yourheritagefilm.com. I owe him a call. Goodness gracious. I said, goodness gracious. They make awesome documentary films, and they do it for you, your parents, your grandparents, whoever it may be. My dad's got great stories that he has shared with us. He has shared with my kids. But, is it going to be here 20 years from now, 30 years from now? I don't like the game of telephone when it comes to our family's history. I want it out there, and I've tried to get him to write stuff down and record it. How about you let a professional do it at the highest level? Netflix, A&E style documentaries, the music, the lights, the background, everything. Chance can do that. He's going to do it. He travels the country for these cinematic documentary type films. First class stuff. It takes about 8 to 10 weeks to finish. He is a slave to the process. He's advertising with us because he knows that Aggies care about their history. So stop what you're doing and call him up right now. 713-893-8341. 713-893-8341. It is yourheritagefilm.com.
Become a Facebook friend and get even more. More of the Zone. More of the Zone. Like us on Facebook at Zone 1150. 1150.
Bryan Broadcasting is your home for high school football. Bryan High, A&M Consolidated, Rudder, and College Station High play on the Bryan Broadcasting family of stations. No matter where you are, hear every play, every game, all season long. Thanks to Amarillo National Bank, Glenn College, BCS Toyota, and Ed Phillips Plumbing. To find out when and where to hear your favorite team, go to brazosfootball.com.
Howdy, this is Brad Beard with Intercon. You would not buy a car, boat, or major appliance if the warranty only covered material, leaving you to pay labor, freight, and other charges. So don't make the same mistake when making a window or glass purchase. With many players in the window industry, limited warranties are truly limited. At Intercon, the warranties we provide cover 100% of the cost to get the product performing as it should. The labor and freight charges on other vendors' warranties can add up to hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Ask questions about other warranties offered. What costs are not covered? Are they transferable? What happens if a vendor goes out of business? Intercon does not represent any fly-by-night manufacturers who change their name and product line continually. We have long-standing relationships with our vendors and offer the best warranties in the business. Years down the road, Intercon will still be in the Brazos Valley, making sure the product we sold you lives up to expectations. Call Intercon and get the best product at the best price with the best service.
When it comes to windows for your most valuable asset, trust your local friends and neighbors from Intercon. Call Brad Beard with Intercon Intercon at 823-3639. That's 823-3639 for Intercon today.
Cleanly Touch Janitorial Services, LLC says every 13 minutes a woman in America dies from breast cancer, according to the Susan G. Komen Foundation. So take some time out and call today to set up your mammogram. Early detection can save your life. This message is from Roxanne at Cleanly Touch Janitorial Services, LLC, serving the Brazos Valley for all your home and office cleaning needs. Dependable quality cleaning at a reasonable rate. Cleanly Touch Janitorial Services, LLC, wishing everyone a healthy fall.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's not every day you can save money. Oh, wait, you can. Hi, Jenny here from Big Deals. When you shop Big Deals, you'll save money every day on dozens of gift certificates from local businesses like these.
Star Cinema Grill, Dirt Road Rustics, Hungry Howie's, Horseshoe Junction Family Fun Park, and more. Visit AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
You can hear Astros baseball all season and postseason long on Sports Radio 1150 and 93.7 FM plus Gospel 97.3 FM thanks to Kelly Burt Dozer. The Astros look to make another World Series run. You can hear the games on The Zone or on Gospel 97.3 FM thanks to Kelly Burt Dozer. The Houston Astros, the World Series. Listen in, all thanks to Kelly Burt Dozer.
Welcome back, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate you guys listening. Having a fun time. I'm trying to be optimistic. I feel like I'm sad today, but I'm not sad. But I feel like that's the vibe I'm giving off. I'm just like, just go do it this weekend, guys. Just go do it.
Well, I think we're not as confident as we were a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And when they lost against Colorado, well, they didn't lose. It felt like they lost to Colorado. But when they didn't play well against Colorado, you could almost explain it away. Well, you lost your starting quarterback. Yeah. The defense gave up some yards, but then they adjusted and took away that run. And then Calzada made some big plays, so he improved during the process of the game. But then you play Arkansas, and you look, okay, wait a minute, it's happened again.
Right.
So what do we expect moving forward?
I agree. Let's go to the BCSI hotline. Drew wants to talk a little bit about both sides of the ball. Welcome to the show, Drew.
Hi, Drew.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Good.
Good, man. Thanks for calling.
I wanted to say the biggest surprise to me is what seems like the lack of physicality just on both sides of the line, especially the defensive line. No one's really playing angry or mean. It's surprised. It seems like they're just getting pushed around a lot. And that's very shocking to me, given last year, given the fact that Schmidt is a top strength and conditioning coach. It just seems that shouldn't be the issue, but it seems like it is to me.
I may need to watch the film again because I didn't get that sense. I think Arkansas's got a great offensive line, but I haven't gotten the sense that our D-line has been thrown around. Have you?
It's
just pushed around, just not tough, just not playing angry and mean.
I think you're definitely missing Bobby Brown in there, and we thought that McKinley Jackson would come in and just be the same. And, of course, he missed a couple of games. But what I think is, first of all, they're not doing a great job on the zone read, so quarterbacks are running against them, even sometimes when they look like they've got it sniffed out. Mm-hmm. But I think what it really comes down to on those inside runs is less about the linemen and more on the linebackers. That's what I think. I've watched it, and I think sometimes you're seeing guys that are overrunning plays, and I think what you miss from Buddy Johnson, and you're not seeing enough, you've seen it, you saw it on the fourth down play, but you're not seeing enough, is you're not seeing the Buddy Johnson guy that steps in the hole and wants to be there and wants to make the contact. I think right now they have linebackers that are really good in pursuit.
Sure.
If you're going to run wide, I've got fast guys that are going to go get you. But if you're coming right at me, I've got guys that right now I guess they're trying to develop some instincts of reading the play. I know there's been times when their linebackers ran themselves out of the hole and the cutback is wide open. That's what it seems to me.
And I think Jimbo talked about that week one, that exact thing. Drew, anything else, my friend?
I hope Georgia beats the dog, you know what, out of Arkansas.
But let me ask you this.
I can't stand it. I've hated Arkansas since I was 12 years old. That's back in the 80s.
But what if Arkansas gives Georgia a game? Does it make you feel a little better about where A&M is?
No.
No, I want Arkansas to lose.
No, even if Arkansas shows that
I want them blown out of the water. I don't care. I know what type of team we are. I just want Arkansas destroyed, just out of principle.
If Arkansas was to win that game or lose by less than a touchdown, all it does to me is think that should be Arkansas. Arkansas's living A&M's life.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Drew, we appreciate the call, man. Thanks so much for calling. Oh, in the middle of saying goodbye, I apologize. I'm going to blame that on Dalton.
I'm sure he'll let it pass.
Dalton's not here, but I'm blaming it on Dalton. I apologize, Drew. Thanks so much for calling the show. OB, about to hit the hour break. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
It's always fun.
It is always fun.
Even now.
It is still fun.
Even with the frustration, it's still fun.
It's going to be more fun if they can figure things out this weekend. It is TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Construction equipment and need custom hydraulic hoses, get 10% off at WPI. WPI also has the best price in town for DEF at $8.50 for 2.5 gallons. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI can help.
Join WPI for free Big Dogs Barbecue at their open house Wednesday, October 6th from 11 a.m. to 2. Yeti tumbler giveaways, raffles for Pelican and Igloo coolers, plus much more. Highway 21 East at Merino Road. Click WPI.com.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Like us on Facebook at Zone 1150. Follow us on Twitter at Zone 1150. Get connected now. With the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. This is KZNE College Station, Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. The Brazos County Health District has released another nugget of pandemic information. The ages of Brazos County's 5 vaccine breakthrough deaths are between 75 and 95. Tuesday's report also included another record number of active cases at 2,676. It's the 4th time a record has been set in the last 9 days. More information is at brazoshealth.org. Overshadowed by the possible splitting of Brazos County into 2 congressional districts, county commissioners begin the process of drawing new commission boundaries. County Judge Dwayne Peters says those who oppose the new congressional lines have to contact state lawmakers.
My personal preference would be Brazos County stayed one, and I've been very happy with Congressman Sessions. I hope we can stay in his district.
Commissioners will have to adjust all 4 precincts, and because the census was late in reporting numbers, that gives commissioners less time to approve new boundaries by November 12th.
So that anybody that wants to run knows which precinct they're going to be in and can make that determination by filing date.
Adjustments will be made because during the last 10 years, the population in Precinct 1 increased by 18%. In Precinct 2, there was an increase of 4.5%, and there was a decrease of almost 12% in Precincts 3 and 4. The date has been announced for the Bryan College Station Chamber of Commerce annual banquet. So have the recipients of 2 awards the evening of November 8th. Chamber President Glenn Brewer says Volunteer of the Year is Bryan Broadcasting's Mary Mike Hatcher.
Mary Mike, of course, volunteers in a lot of ways, but we're very appreciative of what she's done for the Chamber this year, and we're happy to honor her.
The Chamber's Citizen of the Year is Brazos County Commissioner Irma Cawley.
She's truly a treasure that we have in this community.
The Chamber's Ambassador of the Year will be announced the night of the banquet. Ticket information is online at bcschamber.org. For more news, go to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family.
Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
Chili Fest and Miller Lite proudly present Friday Night Lights from Wolfden Creek Amphitheater. Friday, October 8th. Live on stage, it's John Bauman, Shane Smith and the Saints, Josh Abbott Band, and headliner Robert Earl Keane.
We lived in College Station, Texas. We was Aggies.
Get your tickets online now at chilifest.org. Miller Brewing Company. Great beer, great responsibility. 21 means 21.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click hilcosupply.com. 15th ranked Texas A&M football finds itself in a very similar situation as this time last year. Some close wins combined with a big loss. Safety Damani Richardson says the team can turn it around just like they did in 2020.
Yes, for sure. It's just one loss at the beginning of the season. We know we had mistakes we have to clean up, so we just know we have to make it an urgency to clean it up.
Now, Damani and the guys will look to bounce back this Saturday when they welcome Mississippi State to town. To get Coach's take, tune into the Jimbo Fisher Coaches Show tonight from 8 to 9 on 1620, 94.5 WTAW. Aggie distance runners Eric Casares and Maddie Livingston have been named SEC Men's Runner of the Week and Women's Freshman Runner of the Week, respectively. Casares won the Texas A&M Invitational 8K, setting a Dale Watts cross-country course record with a time of 23 minutes, 4 seconds. Livingston finished as the top freshman and 4th overall at the Invitational 5K with a time of 17 minutes, 49.7 seconds. And Texas A&M's Pierce Rollins claimed second place at the Pro Tennis Tour stop at the Mitchell Tennis Center. Rollins, a junior from Tulsa, posted a 3-1 record in pool play to advance to the 4-person first-place draw. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
You can hear every Aggie football game, home, road, national championship, right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Game Day on The Zone is brought to you in part by Stephen Gustitis, attorney at law, BCS Allstate agent Jerry Anderson, and Higginbotham Insurance. 30 minutes after every A&M home game, tune in for the Twin Peaks Call-In Show, powered by TexAgs.com.
Welcome back, TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Still trying to figure out what is going on with the Aggies. Yep, couple rough offensive performances this year. Try to break it all down. Let's go to the BCSI Associates hotline. By the way, all guests and callers join us on this hotline. You no longer have to drive to Houston or Dallas or Austin for major eye surgery such as glaucoma or cataract issues. Let Dr. K take care of you right here in the BCS. They are located in the top level of the Physician Center. Call 979-701-2020 or check out mybcsi.com. And with that, we go to Chris Landry of LandryFootball.com with our Texas A&M scouting report. Former coach and scout breaks it all down. Chris, man, we've got some worried, angry, and depressed Aggies out here after that offensive performance last week against Arkansas, really a couple of times against Power 5 teams. How did it look to you, my friend?
Well, no, it wasn't good. I think there a number of ways. There's a lot of thoughts, and looking at the tape and watching the game live, it's this Arkansas team is probably better than most people think. I was thinking about kind of perception as I do a lot of these shows. There's always a perception, right? We live in a world of off season, well, this team's going to be really good. This team's not going to be really good. And sometimes things are not what we think they are. For me, I thought Arkansas would be a little better than last year, but their record might not reflect it. They're better than I thought. And I mentioned that last week. They just look better and how they play. That's the first thing. And I'm not so sure that if they didn't line up and play A&M 3 or 4 more times that the result would be just the same. They played really well. Now, why is that? Well, how could that be? It's the second year of them. And, A&M doesn't mean that the programs are better. This team is really good. A lot of influential guys that in key spots that transfer portal guys returning in what I call a COVID returning. So that's where I think you start. They're really good. Now, the A&M part of it, we've seen it through the first 2 or 3 weeks. Some of the problems that were consistent, even against Colorado, Mexico, all of a sudden they haven't gotten better. Usually when you have these problems and they're consistent, the improvement's going to be incremental. In other words, it's not like you just go into the car shop and fix it and it's done. They're issues. It's one of the right now least effective run blocking units in terms of the least amount of yards for a back to get before contact. So there's not a lot of run creases. This offense can't run the football. It affects everything else in a negative way. I think one of the things in doing a lot of these shows is a lot of times people tend to want to segment different things and they don't quite get how it all works in together. So if you are not able to run the football well, and why can't you run it? Because maybe you're not getting a lot of run creases. It's going to put a lot of pressure on your passing game. If you're struggling from a pass protection standpoint, if your receivers are not getting open, there's a lot of things that are going on that are consistent problems. And on one play, it may be more one issue than the other, but it's consistent where there's something on most plays. And when you play against a really good team that's physical, that can take advantage of it, you have what you had on Saturday. And I think, even defensively, which this team is very good, at some point, it just you're on the field a lot. It's common sense. I tell this all the time in today's world. If you're going to play a game where you've got 60 snaps that you play defensively versus 85, you're going to give up more yards. You're going to give up more points. It's just common math there. And I just think it's a negative effect. And in the short, this team is not as good as probably a lot of people thought. They weren't ready to play. And no. Again, I think these two teams play again. The same result would take place the way they're playing right now. That's just the reality. I just think up front in some of those areas, the Aggies are just not as good as maybe some people thought. I still think they're a good team. I still think they'll get better. Still think they have a good record, but I think a lot of it is expectation, David. Right. This team almost made the playoffs last year. I never saw this Aggie team as a team that was capable of making the national playoffs this year. I think they were really good. I mean, I think that they're a 9-3 type team, and I still think they can be that. But it looks a little different at this point, I admit. And maybe there's even some more roadblocks that might be in play that I didn't anticipate. And last week was one of them that I didn't anticipate at the start of the season. But last week, and we did the breakdown on Landry football, there was some key areas where Arkansas had some distinct advantages in this matchup, and they really took advantage of that.
All right, Chris, so let's talk about Zach Calzada, because to me, yes, the offensive line has been an issue, but Calzada, I feel like he's holding the ball too long. I feel like he's putting himself in tough spots. What are you seeing from him from a scout and coach perspective?
Well, there are times, David, he's holding the ball too long, but there are times receivers are not getting open. So that's becomes the issue, and therein lies the problem, right? You see, well, other young quarterbacks can do that. Well, look, they're running the football well. This team is not. Got good pass protection. This team does not have that. You've got receivers getting open. Now, are there some things you can do to mitigate that? I think you can. I think you can work the backs out of the backfield more. The tight ends have to limit the – I mean, you got to get the ball out quicker, right? But then you've got to make plays after the catch. So, yeah, I do think there's some of that. And that's part of it. Young quarterback hasn't played enough football yet, and there's a lot of pressure on him, and most guys are not ready. And when you're not protecting well enough, you're not consistently getting open. So when what you're taught to do, guys are not quite getting to the break point quick enough. It causes hesitation. It causes confusion. So I think from a coaching standpoint, what we always try to do in situations like this, got to try to simplify a little bit more. You got a problem. You're either going to have to protect better longer. You're going to have to win off the line of scrimmage and on your route better at receiver. And you got to do both of those things, right? And the quarterback has to become more comfortable. The quarterback has got all the pressure on him because that's who everybody points to. But holding the ball too long is often the result of things not to do with the quarterback. And I think we're seeing some of that, and we're seeing some issues where he is holding the ball too long. So there is a multitude of issues that kind of is affected by, everything is like a chain link. If you got a one breakage there, it comes apart, and you start to put it together, then you'll see one aspect of those problems get better because another aspect's improve. So look, it's look, I know it's kind of the end of the world look, but the reality is, I think there was this is still has a chance to be a pretty good team. But it's not as good in some key areas of the areas that we just talked about as people thought and had hoped.
All right, so we talked a little bit about Zach holding the ball too long. Sometimes it's Zach, sometimes it's the wide receivers. What about this very talented backfield? How much of it is on the running backs, Isaiah Spiller, Devon Achane, and how much of it is on the line? Is it kind of the same kind of correlation? They're not hitting the holes fast, or is it all on the line there?
Well, as I mentioned, right now, they are near the bottom of the SEC in yards before contact. It's less than overall. It's a little less than it's about 1.9 yards. So basically, there's not a lot of run creases. So the holes close up quickly. Now, there's certainly things you can do schematically to create some spacing, but a part of that is you got to work the quick passing game. You got to get people out of the box, and that's what they're not been able to do very effectively. And, that's a problem. So, yeah, look, the great backs can make an offensive line look better, and great offensive lines can make a back look better. I would say that the backs are a little bit more talented and have done a little bit better job than the offensive line has in creating run creases. So, it's a big issue. I mean, last year, by comparison, they were almost in the 2.8 to 2.9 yards before contact mode. Now, I mean, you're talking about almost a yard different. That's huge in terms of, look, you got to make people miss. We always break down backs, avoidance yards, and after contact yards. What do they do with what they have? So you've got to make something happen as a back. But on the offensive line, you've got to give some run creases. So I think it's both. I think it's more slanted towards the problems with the offensive line. Now, again, if you're not able to get open, go back to the quarterback play because it's all connects, all right? So what are you going to do? You're going to crowd the line of scrimmage. You're going to cheat a guy in the box. So now you've got an offensive line that's struggling, having to block more numbers in the box. You see where this goes? Okay, so you've got less, spacing to be able to run. And so a lot of times what you have to do is you have to throw people out of that look so that you can run the football. And so I think, while it's easy to say to do that and to call those, it's easy to call plays. Call plays are easy. Play calls are the most overrated thing that people criticize. It's how you execute the play that you call and how you set up future plays that you call. And so I think what's going to be interesting is how can they develop a comfort level with getting the ball out quickly, create some run creases. And I think that's going to be the effort going forward. But I'm going to go back to this again. You're going to see some improvement. You're going to see some, and most people are going to look at the improvement, David, as they always do, is look at the schedule. Look, I mean, they're not a good fit against Alabama, but, against a lot of other people, I think you're going to see some improvement on the team.
Chris Landry
because of who they play.
Chris Landry with us here on the BCSI hotline. All right, let's talk about some narratives out there, at least defensively. The feeling is this team turns it on typically in the second half, that Mike Elko has figured it out. But what happens from the first half to the second half, at least in that Arkansas game, and a little bit in that Colorado game?
Well, I think a lot of it is making adjustments. I think you go in with a game plan of how you're going to try to attack an opponent, and then you've got to make adjustments to what they do. And a lot of that is just a feeling out process. It's just a matter of obviously scouting, but there's a lot of what we call unscouted looks where teams will do some things differently. I think I've seen consistent improvement in their ability to make adjustments. We've talked about Mike does a lot of things pre-snap to give a lot of different looks, probably as much as anybody in the league. To me, I think the defense is hung in there pretty well when you consider the fact that they're on the field a lot. A lot of times you got inconsistent performances on offense, putting them right back on the field, and they're having to carry it. And look, I think you carry it for so long, and then at time the dam breaks. And I think that's what I'm saying. It's not that they can't improve on defense. I'm not saying that. There's still some areas I think they can get better, but I think we know that the biggest issue is playing better complementary ball. And until they can find a way to get the running game going, to play complementary ball, then I think there'll be some issues, with the defense playing for a full 4 quarters as well as they need to.
What about stopping the run? That's been a thing that has affected them a little bit, especially, they were in a 17-0 hole. And I will give the defense this, 20 points overall by Arkansas. That's a winnable game if you can get some offense going. But they still did give up 300 yards in that first half.
It's a really good offense they played, a really good offensive line that comes off the ball very well. I think a lot of times people just assume we're better than them. Why can't our $9 million a year coach figure it out? I don't think there's enough credit given to Arkansas. You will find against other teams, Colorado couldn't do that, right? They're not as good. And I think that's a big part of it. I think there's an expectation level. This program is in good shape, David, but it's a good team. It's not an elite team. And I think people need to kind of get that understand. Let's see how much better that they can get. But I think they played a very good offense. And I think that they didn't do as good a job fitting the run because you've got an extra gap you got to defend with a quarterback that runs very well. It's a big part of it. Look, and I think you're going to see it this week. Arkansas will play well, but they're not going to have the same type of success against Georgia, in my view, because, Georgia's better than A&M by quite a bit. And I don't know that people quite understand that. And I think fans are kind of in their myopic view of it. I think this is an A&M team that, in some eyes, it's disappointing how they've looked. That loss hurts, I know, but this team still has a chance to be pretty good. But it's not elite, and I don't know that I ever thought being elite, but it's probably even a notch below what I thought, which again was definitely below elite in my view.
Which makes this weekend even more difficult, taking on a Mississippi State team that can stop the run. How do you see this game playing out? How concerned should Aggie fans be about Mississippi State coming to Kyle Field?
Well, look, this is one where, if you don't play well here and get this is more of a concern. I'm not a big fan of how I think, first of all, you've got running the football. Mississippi State's never going to stay committed to the run. So this is where you want to drop 8, keep it in front of you. Don't give up any cheap points because you're playing a defense that's pretty good. Again, this A&M offense is not playing good enough to have an off game against anybody. I think they've got some limitations, and I think it's going to be a challenge, but I do see a better performance, and I definitely see better results. Sometimes you don't see better performances, but you see a better result relative to the opponent that they're playing. They're playing a Mississippi State team that's not as good. They're also not as well coached in terms of how they adjust. Mississippi State does what they do. It's very simple to know what they do. You just got to go out and execute it. You can't allow the free crosses. You got to zone up, play with zone eyes on the quarterback, limit plays there. But I am curious to see what this offense will do against this State defense, which, quite frankly, the State defense is the strength of their team right now. They're hanging in there, and it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge for A&M's offense the way they're playing than I might have thought, certainly 3 weeks ago.
All right, so last thing for you. Against Colorado, 10 points. All right, against Arkansas, 10 points. That's not going to cut it, in my opinion, against Mississippi State. What kind of offense do they need to have? Are we talking 30-point game that we haven't seen from this team against the Power 5? With knowing A&M's defense?
Yeah, no, I think you offensively you got to get in that mid-20s. I really do. I think you at least need to be getting that 24 points. I do think that Mississippi State will get their 400 yards. You can just they fall out of bed because they throw all those little simple crossers. But it's about playing good situational defense. Third down, red zone. I think this offense, you could hold them to 21, 24 points. So that tells you what the Aggies need to do offensively. It's going to have to be a better offensive performance, no doubt. More of an offensive output to get in that mid to high 30s to win this.
There he is, Chris Landry, LandryFootball.com on the BCSI hotline. Chris, we appreciate you, my friend. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you so much. Have a great week. Take care.
You too, my friend. Always a great analysis there, and I love just how he sees the game, coach's perspective, scout's perspective. He really can break it all down. So thank you very much to Chris. If you want to text the show, you can, 979-693-1150. That is the A&B text line. We did ask, and there's a bunch of answers coming in. What has surprised you most this season? We'll get into that. But right now, I'm going to remind you to text radio, not to 900-900, guys. That number is gone. I was made aware of that yesterday. So do not text 900-900. Text radio to 1-833-638-6248. Again, 1-833-638-6248 for your chance to win the Big Friday giveaway, courtesy of our friends at Aggieland Outfitters. We're going to unveil that winner during the 10 o'clock hour of Friday's show. And here it is, my friends, the Texas A&M Champion Power Blend Pocketless Quarter Zip Pullover, valued at $69.99. It is a beauty. It's a quarter zip, and it's got the maroon lettering across the chest. But really what I like about it is the soft cotton fabric on here, right? It's really, really soft. It's just a really heavy material, too. So, the cold front's here. It's, I think it was like 70 this morning. It'll get colder, right? This is perfect for that. So, cold weather at a Kyle Field, stop by Aggieland Outfitters, pick up this bad boy. It is a beautiful one. It is, again, valued at $69.99. It is the Texas A&M Champion Power Blend Pocketless Quarter Zip Pullover. Check it out at Aggieland Outfitters.
We got the Paul Feinbaum Show, weekdays from 2 to 4 here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM, The Zone.
We have trucks, yes, at Tom White Chevrolet, we have the cars, trucks, and SUVs you want today. New, used, and certified pre-owned, we have more stock coming in daily, and we won't be beat on price. And if you need quick cash, we are buying cars even if you don't buy from us. All roads lead to Tom White Chevrolet in Bryan College Station. Chevy, find new roads. More details at tomlight.com.
Tom White Chevrolet, we're here for you every day.
When seconds matter in the game, every single decision made can mean a big win or a frustrating loss. When it comes to buying your next home and selling your existing home in the current market, every decision can mean serious money. Aggie fans, it's Dave South, and as you know, I've studied the best players and the best teams to represent our A&M family. One thing I've learned over the years, the best coaches have the respect of their team and the 12th man, you, the fans. In Bryan College Station, no realtor has more 5-star reviews on Google than Lance Lester and his team at the Lester Group. Why is that? Simple. No one offers more options that benefit you. If you want to buy your next home before you sell your current home, Lance can help you do that. If you want to know the date and price that you can count on your home selling for, Lance can guarantee it in writing. When the game is on the line, you want a leader with a proven track record calling the shots. Get your home sold faster and for the most money. Work with my friend Lance Lester and the Lester Group. Go to thelestergroup.com. That's thelestergroup.com and experience lightning in a bottle selling your home.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Pioneer Steel, Gulf States Toyota, and Amarillo National Bank. Here's a big gig 'em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Question. Would you pick a chain barbecue place over a hometown joint? Do you root for East Coast universities instead of the local team? Nah, then why choose a big Wall Street bank? A&B started in 1892. 5 generations later, we're still owned and operated by the same Texas family. We support this community. We value your privacy. We make quick decisions, and we hate red tape. We answer to you, not Wall Street. Bank with A&B. Family owned, Texas proud. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
On Sports Talk, Chip visits with Chef Scott Conant about how the Food Network has glamorized the restaurant business.
How many kids are growing up wanting to do what you do, but really not understanding how many tears there are along the way?
It's so true. Just a few tears along the way.
Sports Talk, keeping it real, weekdays from 4 to 6 on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
Hey friends, TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. I talked about our show next week at Rollo Insurance on Friday, October the 8th. Going to have some great drawings out there, but really one of the most important things out there is they're trying to give back to the Down Syndrome Association of the Brazos Valley, a really worthy organization, selflessly serving the extraordinary lives of people touched by Down syndrome here in the Brazos Valley. And if you know anybody who has Down syndrome, you know what a gift they are. Make a small donation to DSABV in the name of a person who has blessed you. It takes about 30 seconds. Go to dsabv.org/Rollo, ROLLO 2021, and make sure that your gifts get matched. Remember, if you come by the show next Friday, you got a chance to win a Yeti Tundra Hall wheeled cooler, $250 gift card, and a Glock 19X. So good stuff going on there. You have to be 21 years old and a Texas resident and legally eligible to obtain a firearm through authorized dealer. Firearm. Excuse me. All right, I do want to react quickly to Chris Landry talking about where A&M is compared to last year in yards before contact. Almost a full yard less than last year. So the running backs are trying to do what they tried to do last year with a lot more chaos in front of them. And that just shows you how much that line has to improve. And some of that is, inexperience and youth. Some of it's just anger, guys. Go out there and just maul the guy in front of you. Maybe I'm simplifying it too much, but that's what it feels like, getting off the line and creating that space and really pushing your opponent out of the way. Yes, Arkansas is good, but we've seen that all season long, and that's something that the Aggies are going to have to figure out in a hurry, and there is no magic potion. Let's check out the A&B text line. Anna Rosa Peterson there at the News and Social Center.
All right, and let's get into some news first. Women's golf, the Texas A&M team had a pair of top 10 finishers and earned runner-up honors in the team race at the University of Oklahoma's Fall Classic at the Par 70 6,112-yard Belmar Golf Club on Monday. And in volleyball, former Texas A&M volleyball libero Camila Gomez recently won a silver medal with the Columbia women's national team at the 2021 Women's South American Volleyball Championship held in Colombia. And in men's tennis, Pierce Rollins from our team claimed second place at the Pro Tennis Tour stop at the Mitchell Tennis Center. And let's get into some texts now.
Shall we?
Quick reminder of our topic. What has surprised you most so far? JM in College Station says, surprising to me is the talk of a national championship this year. We were replacing our starting quarterback in 4 starting O-line from a line that was the best in the country last year. Any championship talk starts with beating Alabama. Then we would have to win the SEC West, SEC Championship, and then 2 games in the playoff. My maroon glasses are dark but not opaque.
Yeah, I'm guilty. Guilty about it, guys. Not that I necessarily believed they were going to win a national championship. I did believe that quarterback play would not have suffered as much. And yes, I understand the reasons, injury and young and all that, but I expected quarterback play to be better. I thought Arkansas would be a win. I did. I thought you'd go into Alabama regardless, undefeated. I thought they'd beat Mississippi State. I thought you'd beat Arkansas. But in some other programs, when they replace freshmen at the offensive line and replace a quarterback, don't have the drop-off that A&M had this year. But again, when you talk about that much of a change of the offensive line, now I talked to some people close to the situation, and they knew there would be some hiccups along the way. I didn't think it would be as dramatic. I thought we would know more after the Alabama game moving forward. I didn't think we would know after the New Mexico game that there's so many problems with the offensive line. And again, using your backup quarterback, I didn't expect that issue to be as glaring as it's become. And as Chris Landry said earlier, it's kind of a combination. Yes, Zach is holding on the ball too long, but the wide receivers aren't getting open. Offensive line is not blocking long enough, which is a recipe for failure. All right, guys, let's hit a break here. When we come back, Dave Wilson of ESPN going to break it all down on the BCSI hotline. We'll talk about his thoughts on the game in Jerry's world and try to move forward to Mississippi State. It's TexAgs Radio.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. St. Anthony's Catholic Church is holding a drive-through barbecue fundraiser on Sunday, October 10th at their pavilion on Tabor Road. Food starts selling at 10:30 a.m. A free presentation offered to seniors on Medicare open enrollment is scheduled for Wednesday, October 13th. Contact the Mature Well Lifestyle Club for more information. Join the Brazos Valley Museum of Natural History on October 16th for the 16th Annual Texas Heritage Festival Boonville Days. Find more information at brazosvalleymuseum.org. Celebrate the City of Bryan's 150th anniversary with the official Bryan, Texas History Tour. Find more information about this self-guided tour at 150.bryantx.gov. Your home for Houston Texans football is Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. You can hear every game, home, road, all season long, right here on Aggieland's only all-sports station. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Vera Bank is open and we are excited to serve you in College Station. Hi, this is Erica Archer, Treasury Management Officer at Vera Bank, and I specialize in helping businesses run their day-to-day operations more efficiently, saving you valuable time. Our team's job is to make yours easier. So give us a call or come by and see us off of Highway 6. At Vera Bank, you have a team of genuine bankers on your side, and you can bank on it.
Visit verabank.com today. That's VERA bank.com. Vera Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Save Our Streets Ministries is celebrating its 20th annual banquet Rise on Tuesday, October 5th at 6:30. Sponsored by Galleria Spa Salon Boutique and KBTX Media. SOS has invested in lives to rescue, restore, and release families from drug and gang-infested environments where abuse, poverty, and violence are a way of life.
We're in our critical hour, but our finest hour. I just don't want to read about great exploits. I want to be one. Church of the Living God, it's time for us to rise.
Visit SaveOurStreetsMinistries.org/rise and help us save our streets.
Howdy, it's me, the Roofer Girl, Rainy Night, Class of 90. Aggieland Roofing is proud to promote Breast Cancer Awareness Month by donating a portion of every roof sold in the month of October to Pink Alliance, Brazos Valley's very own breast health and support advocate. Join us by supporting our local women and urge every woman to get a mammogram. If your roof needs are large or small, commercial or residential, make the official roofer of Texas A&M your roofer. Thank you for your support. Shop local, shop licensed, and call me, the Roofer Girl, at Aggieland Roofing.
The best is yet to come in College Station.
Isaiah up the middle, first down and more. 40, 45, 50, now it's a race. 40, 30, to the 20. Isaiah Spiller all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Aggies!
Join us Saturday. The Aggies host Mississippi State. Our coverage begins at 5 on your home for Aggies football, the Texas A&M Sports Network.
Listen to Aggie Football on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Online at radioaggieland.com. Or tell your smart speaker to play Zone 1150.